You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. All right, folks, the Thug in Chief is handing out pardons like candy. He has issued pardons to Roger Stone today. Paul Manafort serving 7 years in prison, frankly, for being a lying thief when it comes to Ukraine. Also gave a pardon out to Charles Kushner, the father of his son-in-law, Jared Kushner. Y'all might remember Charles Kushner served a year in prison for tax crimes. He also tried to punish his brother-in-law for cooperating with prosecutors by setting him up with a prostitute and then recording it and sending the videotape to his brother-in-law's wife. Those are the kind of people. Now, mind you, this follows yesterday where Trump pardoned 4 Blackwater security personnel who murdered 17 Iraqis. Scott, I guess if you kill Iraqis, it's no big deal for the so-called pro-life, lover of Jesus, Christian conservative Donald Trump.
You know, this is just like handing out candy. I'll be honest with you. As a former prosecutor and someone who's been active in Democratic politics and presidential politics for a long time, you remember that the candy part of this is that this is Donald Trump handing out pardons and sentence commutations on his own at his whim. Normally and historically, Republican and Democratic presidents, there's a process you go through at DOJ. They review it. The president can make his desire known, but you've got to have the application done by the person seeking the pardon or the lawyers, if you will. And this also happens at the state level. But there is a formal process. DOJ reviews it. You get a lot of input. There are a lot of letters and support. And then you test also those who don't support it. And eventually the DOJ has a formal recommendation to the president. The president can accept or reject it. Most presidents accept the DOJ review process. Some may not. But at least there's some formal review of this, whether it's Blackwater or whether it's Charles Kushner or whether it's even his former chairman of his campaign. That doesn't happen and has not happened in 4 years. This is Donald Trump sitting in his office figuring out what favors or what pardons, what he wants to hand out as if it's candy on Halloween night. And that's the big difference. And that's the most dangerous part of this because he's pardoning some pretty not only bad people who have been found guilty or pled guilty or have beat the system and beat the taxpayers or the U.S. government out of millions of dollars. And that's the real danger part. Can't wait to January 21st.
But here's the deal, Monique. The president does not, there's nothing in the Constitution that says he has to follow any procedure established by the Department of Justice. The power, he can issue a pardon to anybody he wants to for any reason. He doesn't have to have that. But what you're dealing with here is somebody who doesn't care about rules or procedures or regulations. All he's doing is saying, how can I hook up my people? And that's what you're seeing here. And, you know, there were some conservatives who were trying to get a pardon for Kwame Kilpatrick. Now, granted, Trump still has some days to issue, but he's issued pardons to a couple of lying former Republican congressmen who went to prison because they also were tax cheats and were stealing campaign money. And so he's just sitting here saying, all right, who can I hook up? Monique?
They hear you. Who can't hear me? Scott says he can't hear me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, we got you. No, Monique, we got you.
Scott have to hear me.
I don't care about. I don't care. Hold on. I don't care about Scott hearing you. I can hear you. That's all that matters. Go ahead.
He steps in and says, "Can't hear you." Like he's okay, listen.
It's not my show. It's not my show.
As long as you know that, Scott. So, as my brother was just so wrongly saying, yes, there are all these checks that we wish were in place, but what we've had to learn in the past 4 years is the strength of our nets or the lack thereof. This president can do whatever he wants to do about pardons. Everything Scott said about the DOJ, about the state level, about the recommendations, about the vetting, none of that is codified. None of that is judicial. None of that is legislative. None of that is constitutional. This man is going to do what he wants to do. Voting matters. Can he abuse power with the pardon? No. Arguably, he can't. But what's the fix for that? Another impeachment? 20-something days before he's about to be out? Not going to happen. So let's just watch the lotto, because that's what's about to happen. Every day is going to be some new, more ridiculous pardons. And when we get a new administration, what will have to happen is Congress will have to limit the executive power of the presidency in case we elect another certified fool. So now we can trust that the people who get in the office are going to stay within bounds of decorum, decency, morality, legality. No, none of that is likely. So we have to deal with what we have, and we have to put some more checks in place. But from now until January 20th, forget about it, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Look, Robert, this is sort of like Oprah. You get a car, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car, you get a pardon, you get a pardon, you get a pardon, you get a pardon. I'm a thug in chief, and so I got this power for another 20 some odd days. I'm just going to go ahead and just hand them out like party favors.
Well, look, Roland, as you're
even if you committed murder, even if you committed murder.
Look, Roland, as your resident Haitian on the panel, it's very difficult to listen to us have to be lectured about constitutional norms and the rule of law when y'all got a damn game show host as president over here. And I wish it was a lottery giving out these pardons. It's an auction, and we all understand that. Charles Kushner is a criminal. They put a criminal son in the White House to run Middle Eastern foreign policy and everything else. These things don't happen to the rest of us. The reason Chris Christie was never in that cabinet is because he's the one who prosecuted Charles Kushner, Jared Kushner's dad, who was Ivanka Trump's husband, both of them who were advisors to the president, and contravention to every anti-nepotism law that we have on the books. Let's understand something that is going on right now in our country. The rule of law is no longer a thing as long as America does not buy into that fundamental fiction. And we have to stop letting the political right walk around claiming they are the defenders and protectors of the Constitution. Remember, their Tea Party used to walk around with the pocket constitutions everywhere saying they were defending the Constitution. Not anymore. And we have to call them on it every time. That you passively sat by as this president was allowed to shred the Constitution, to turn the White House into an auctioneer's block, to circumvent the rule of law, to circumvent electoral norms, to circumvent much of what we've done in the last millennia in Western civilization, that you sat there idly by so you could have tax cuts and conservative judges, have to call them to the mat on it. And look, if we're going to hold up these rules for foreign countries and for foreign powers, we damn sure better be enforcing them on the local level for our own politicians and game show hosts before we start talking about other countries getting their books in order.
Oh, I agree 100%. I agree 100%. So again, he's handing pardons out. But ain't it amazing how quiet all them white conservative evangelicals are? You know, all them pro-life people. They ain't said nothing about him letting 4 murderers go. People who killed Iraqis with impunity. Oh, but I guess those lives don't matter. I thought y'all say all lives matter. Oops, I guess not, because y'all don't mind the thugs. All right, y'all, back to that Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have that you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.